Welcome back, folks, to another video. It's been a minute since I've done more of a in-depth video, but here we are. We're doing it. It's going to be for Matthew Stafford. If you guys don't know, if you've been living under a rock, he is the starting quarterback now for the Los Angeles Rams after a trade that sent Jared Goff and multiple picks to the Detroit Lions. Took place before the Super Bowl. It won't be active until March when the new league year starts. So let's go through his highlights, his tape. I went through all 17 weeks, which of course was pretty easy because Stafford missed pretty much all of week 16. So I went through and dug up all sorts of, you could call them highlights, but we're going to talk about each individual one and go through it. So, first off here, you see the man motion. Stafford, he does a nice job here. This is thrown right on a line. And when you wonder what Matthew Stafford is bringing to the table, simply put, this guy is going to be able to throw two receivers on the run. And I know it sounds very simple, but it's not, because when you really think about it, as long as Jared Goff has been the Rams quarterback, this team has not been able to hit guys in stride. It doesn't happen anymore, and so it's going to be a breath of fresh air. Again, you'll see the way Matthew Stafford is able to basically hit man without even breaking their stride. They can continue running as soon as they get the football, get multiple yards. It's a great thing. You move on what you'll see here, Matthew Stafford throwing a laser. You look, there's no ducks. There's none of that. Matthew Stafford has all sorts of mustard he can put on the football. He has all sorts of arm angles, which you'll see throughout this. But we're starting off here in Detroit versus Chicago, week 1 of the season. And you're seeing, a confident Matthew Stafford delivering the football to Marvin Hall there. Now, Stafford likes working in the shotgun. Here he is. Great job orchestrating himself through the pocket. His movement there to find the open receiver over the middle and Danny Amendola. It's definitely, impressive what he's able to do on film. You look at it, it's almost like he's a robot because he really plays like a robot. As you see, Amendola is the man. We already know, as fans that have seen him play, going back to St. Louis, he can obviously take a hit. Now this is a nice play. Love the shoulder check there from Marvin Jones, who maybe they potentially play again in Los Angeles. You're going to see Matthew Stafford. It's a quick drop, but he sees nothing there. He's going to take off and run for a first, and that's what you can see. Matthew Stafford does things like that a lot, where he can just take off and run. And, there's a great throw there, right close to the goal line. Not quite a touchdown. But again, you see it's pinpoint accuracy with Stafford first and foremost. But the thing that I love the most is what you'll see in this game, what you'll see in a lot of these games. Look at Stafford. He sets his feet there, and he delivers a perfect strike to only where Marvin Jones can get it. That's called ball placement, folks, and he is so good at it. And there he is again with the ball placement. Touchdown to TJ Hawkinson. And what you're going to see here, he's going to motion his man, and Hawkinson is going to go out. And look, Stafford sees pressure, but he, gives a little bit of a pump fake, throws, inside, out, the left shoulder there, only where Hawkinson can get it. And then here to Quintez Cephas, his wide receiver, makes a nice throw there, only where Quintez Cephas can receive it. Now, the Bears are a great defense. I mean, that's not anything, it's not like people don't know that. So that's a great throw to Cephas there. And he played very well this year, and we're going to talk about it more in depth. Another thing, a lot of wide receiver screens, a lot of screens thrown by Goff. Well, Matthew Stafford actually throws them on target. As you can see, that flat route, throws it right on target. He wants to help his receivers be able to turn up field, and that's something I love. And there you see Matthew Stafford's his ability to run out of the pocket and makes something happen. He's very good at that. It's uncanny what he can do off script, and you'll see it here He's going to sense the pressure. He's going to roll out and find there, his man there in Quintez Cephas. Now this one, perfect throw, but it's dropped. Figured I'd show that to you because, well, he didn't cause that, and he can throw the screen pass there. Stafford is very quick to respond, and you'll see that. I mean, that's a great throw. Here's the thing: the rookie Cephas needs to be on the same page. Now, clearly, this is a timing throw, and it looks bad on paper, like, oh, Stafford missed his throw. But if you look, Cephas just didn't run the right route. Now you'll see here Stafford's going to dump it off, and this is going to be a nice screen here. Set up pretty nicely by the rookie DeAndre Swift. Again, Stafford trying to put his guys in best positions to succeed. This is an interception here. Now, I am going to show you interceptions in this because I want to make things very clear to you. Stafford's going to throw these. It's going to happen. Look, that's cocky arm right there. He's trying to get it into a tight space, and that's just way too tight for him to throw that ball. It's going to happen. Now here, you're going to see Bullet. This time almost gets picked, but it's a great throw right on the money to Marvin Jones, as you can see there. And the thing is, Stafford, he feels it. And when he feels it, he can take off, he can run. There's a nice job, moving around in the pocket, scrambling if you have nothing. Now Stafford, look at the way he throws inside shoulder, turns the guy upfield. There's a nice screen pass there. Again, it sounds simple. It's weird. But you have to applaud Stafford's ability to throw the screen. And then right there, Danny Amendola hits him right in stride. You got to love it. Stafford here, he's going to look, he's going to fire. And it's a beautiful throw to win the game, except Swift drops it. And you'll see it again. Stafford, just a beautiful throw. Here it is in slow-mo. And he drops it. Back shoulder. No can do. So on to week 2 against Green Bay, and there's a quick dart there from Stafford, and what you're going to see is Stafford's ability to go through his progressions, something he does very often. Doesn't hook onto one receiver. There's T.J. Hawkinson. He had a year with Stafford. And now this is caught. This could have been picked. I think it's a good throw. It's not a horrible decision. I think he put it right where it needed to be. And, it was a great play by one of the best corners in all of football in Jair Alexander. But also, you got to give credit where credit's due. And Marvin Jones was a monster this season for Matthew Stafford. The stats don't show it, but he really helped. And there's another great throw. I mean, that's just perfect to me. You're throwing that only where your receiver can get it. And you're going to hear me say that a lot throughout this video. Matthew Stafford, his ability. He's going to turn upfield and, again, beautiful. Nothing there. Run, get your first down. Here's a nice throw. That's going to be Mohamed Sanu. And now, this has to be caught, but it wouldn't have really gone anywhere. Marvin Hall, I just showed it anyway. This is awesome, though. Boom. Go low. Why throw that high? There's no need to. It's a touchdown. So Stafford changes his arm angle, throws low, and knows Marvin's going to come down with it. There you go. Marvin Jones in the end zone. You get your touchdown against tough Green Bay. Now Stafford wants to go deep, and he's testing him. Marvin Jones, he's testing Jair Alexander early on. He is not afraid of this matchup. And this is a great throw. If you watch, it is right on the money. May have gotten tipped a little bit, but that's in Marvin's hands, and he just drops it. Very rare drop for Marvin Jones. Now, again, Stafford's going to look deep. He's going to fire, and I love the way he finds his receiver and turns him upfield. You'll see this a lot. Stafford does that. Now, this is a sack here because, well, his offensive line isn't very good. I want to make that very clear. This is somebody that, faced a lot of pressure, and, he definitely faced a lot of pressure this season. It was not all perfect. It was not all sunshine and rainbows with Stafford. If you want to know the stats, I mean, we can go literally through each game. In this one, I can tell you, he had 10 pressures against him. So, Stafford was pressured 10 times, 6 hurries, 1 hit, 3 sacks. There were 3 penalties on the offensive line. That's just a horrible throw. Stafford... Again, he's going to throw these. It's going to happen. He's a gunslinger. And unfortunately, the mentality here, even though you want to live to play another down, he's also kind of thinking if I get sacked there, it's going to be a safety. Well, he gives up the touchdown anyway. So now Stafford's going to deliver a strike here, and it's dropped by Kerryon Johnson. That's a nice throw to Quintez Cephas. Again, he's always trying to, see there. He throws inside shoulder so the guy can turn upfield. That is something that's very important. Again, inside, and now Quintez ends up picking up the first. See, you're going to see this. He's trying to help his teammates succeed. Nice hurdle there by DeAndre Swift. And Stafford, again, you want to help your teammates succeed. The ball placement is strategic. Stafford is doing everything he can. That is just beautiful pocket awareness, moving up in the pocket, the mobility factor there. He doesn't have to be a track star, like I've said. He doesn't have to be Lamar Jackson. Just do your thing, my man. And there he is throwing a beautiful dart to Marvin. I almost said Marvin Jones. It's Marvin Hall in the back of the end zone. Now, Stafford, in his own territory, he's going to deliver a strike here. And you're probably like, how did he even complete that? That is to Quintez Cephas. We're not taking any of these checkdowns. No, Stafford's going for it all. Look at this throw in slow-mo. Beautiful play. It looked like it was going to get picked, but a perfect throw can't be defended. And as you can see, Matthew Stafford throws a perfect throw there. Now, here he is again in the shotgun, and, Stafford loves being in there. Look at, he tries to make things happen. Even when he gets hit hard, he tries to make things happen. If you're wondering why that was the last Green Bay game play, that was not the end of the game. He got hurt on that play. As you can see, the offensive line failed to protect him, and he got sandwiched. I showed this because here's the thing. People would say, oh, why did Stafford throw this pick? Watch this hold here. I slowed it down for you. Amendola is going to catch that if he doesn't get held. And there's Stafford stepping up the pocket, delivering a strike over to his guy, TJ Hawkinson. You're going to hear me talk about him a lot. I mean, this is just great stuff by Stafford. And notice his eyes are always downfield. He's never dropping his eyes. Once you drop your eyes, you're done. And he does not do that. In this game, he had 10 pressures against him. And you're going to see Stafford here comfortable. And this is just a beautiful throw. And this is over to Kenny Golladay. He didn't have Golladay long because he came in, he immediately made an impact. But, the times he had him in, it was fun to watch. See, simple dump off, nothing too crazy. Didn't throw way behind his man, gives him an opportunity. Here's Stafford trying to make something happen. I mean, that's just ridiculous. He's getting hit before he can even. And there's Stafford, a nice throw, touchdown. And that is Jesse James. Stafford again here. He's going to find his man. And again, look at the way he throws that ball. It's very simple. But he's able to turn off field and get yards with it. I believe that was Jamal Agnew. Another nice throw. Stafford, again, turns up field. He puts it on the right arm, the right shoulder, the right hand, and a guy can turn up field and make a play. He's not just trying to get his throw off and connected. It's a lot of work to think like that. And there's Kenny Golladay. My word. This throw is phenomenal. Go up and get it. And Golladay stretches, of course, because he knows what he's doing. It's just this is Stafford, folks. This is what you're getting with Matt Stafford. Look at how far that ball went. I put this in here because, simply put, this ball is a flat-out rocket, and it shows you what his velocity can do. Look at how hard this ball goes like 20 yards off that guy's hand. There's DeAndre Swift not paying attention to the screen. Figured I'd throw that in there. That throw is money. Turns his shoulder so he actually gets his receiver out of harm's way. And look at that, right on the money. He's able to turn up field. You'll see these a lot. And you'll also see that. I kept those in. There, he's a little pissed. Stafford, again, right on the money. I know I'm pointing out these folks, and it's probably annoying you, but Jared Goff, and I didn't want to bring up his name at all in this video because it's about Stafford, not Goff. Jared Goff isn't hitting these guys in stride. Okay? Jared Goff was throwing, that is what he's doing consistently with guys that are on the run. This is Stafford on the boot. And look at how simple that is. That's the thing. Is that's one thing that Goff was seriously missing. And there, we can't protect Stafford, clearly. So, here's the thing. This video got you here because you probably saw Matthew Stafford MVP, right? Well, here's the thing. And that ball is absolute money to Marvin Hall. Goff is not throwing that. I can tell you that right now. Goff is not throwing this. You'll see this in slow-mo. This is just an amazing throw by Stafford from about the 35 to it lands at the 5-6 yard line. And it gets called back due to some hold or a penalty of some sort, but it's a great throw nonetheless. It's another nice throw, gets the first down because of where he places the ball. But no, Stafford can win MVP with the Rams, okay? Stafford next year is going to absolutely explode. He's doing all this. If you look, he's constantly under duress. He's constantly being pressured. He had 161 pressures this season alone. His offensive line put on him. 101 hurries, 27 hits, 33 sacks. Jared Goff had 145 pressures, 84 hurries, 41 hits, 21 sacks. Now, the thing with this is very simple. Matthew Stafford, as I've said, is a top 7 quarterback. He doesn't have the defense, which was the worst defense in the league according to PFF. The Rams, of course, were the best. And because of this, he's put in situations where maybe he's throwing interceptions that he's trying to just make anything happen. Whereas if he's in a situation like, say, now where he's in with LA, now he's not pressing. There's no need to press. This is a team that's won 36 or 37 times when leading at halftime and hasn't lost. And there's a reason for that. It's the Sean McVay formula. It's the time of possession domination. It's the fact they want to play defense. They want to be able to run the ball. They want to have a balanced attack. And Sean McVay was able to do that with Jared Goff, who was a lesser talented quarterback than Matthew Stafford. And now that he has Stafford, yeah, he might get a little crazy with the fact that he is a true gunslinger. Maybe have a little fun. But make no mistake, he's still going to play his type of game. He's still going to call his style of game. And at the end of the day, I think this is a perfect fit for Matthew Stafford, a guy that really hasn't had much of a defense. As you can see, that was not a great decision. And again, he makes those. But here's the thing, folks. When you are constantly being in position, you're put in position where you have to do everything yourself, aren't you going to press a little? Aren't you thinking, if I don't throw a touchdown this drive, or if I don't make this completion, we're looking at 4th down. I know my coaches want to punt. You see a beautiful pass there. I know my coach is going to want to punt. So, simply put, I think a lot of the turnovers that Stafford accumulated came down to the fact that either he was under pressure way too often, or, look, nothing here is showing you what the score is at this time, but I can tell you in a lot of these games, he pushed his team back. He gave them an opportunity. This was not a good football team, but this was a team that was competitive because of Stafford. The defense was horrendous. So I look at Stafford and his ability to, obviously he has mobility. He has that clutch factor. He's the clutch gene. You either have it or you don't. He has 31 comebacks, 38 game-winning drives. And I almost like it more that he's literally been in a situation where he's had to do things. He's been uncomfortable a lot. Whereas you look like a guy like Jared Goff, and if the Rams were constantly winning, then those situations where he was uncomfortable were because he was put in situations where he hadn't really been in them. Not that often, anyway. So you look at Stafford, and you're like, this guy's only been in 3 playoff games. And I know if you're saying that, one thing I have to point out, because it said a lot, and it's not just you, my friend, whoever may be listening. 3 playoff games. Rushing yards per game in those playoff games, 57. Defensive yards allowed per game, 442.7. Since 1940, NFL teams combined have a .105 win-loss percentage when they rush between 47 to 67 yards and allow between 412 to 472 yards in a playoff game. That sure is interesting. That sounds to me like no one is having success under the same situation, the same scenarios that Matthew Stafford's been put in. It's really interesting to me. So how is he going to win the MVP, Jake? Why do you keep ranting about that? First off, look at the throws he's making in this video. He's going to have his picks. He might throw double digits, okay? Because he's a gunslinger. But watch this throw. This throw is on the money, and it's only where his receiver, Kenny Golladay, is going to catch it. He does that so well, he puts guys in position to succeed. If you think about this, the Rams already have two of the top 3 leaders in yards after the catch. And Jared Goff doesn't do a good job putting guys in position to move upfield after the catch. He throws underneath. He throws either over their head. He throws at their feet. He throws behind them. When does Jared Goff ever throw in front of the receiver strategically? Stafford does that all the time. And more importantly, Stafford's worked with every type of receiver that you can imagine. He's worked with a first ballot Hall of Famer in Calvin Johnson. He's worked with Kenny Golladay. He's worked with Marvin Jones. Sure, those are your go up and get, deep threats, right? However, he's also worked with Danny Amendola. He's worked with Quintez Cephas. He's worked with tight ends like TJ Hawkinson and Hunter Bryant and Jesse James and Levine Toilolo. And the list goes on. And he's worked with running backs. If you look at the way Matthew Stafford can deliver a screen pass, just as simple as that, because at times Jared Goff couldn't even connect on a screen pass. You have to imagine Darrell Henderson and Cam Akers could be in for monstrous seasons. But not only that, I think a guy like Bryson Hopkins could really emerge because Matthew Stafford can make all the throws. That includes a 50-yard seam buster, pretty much a play that Bryson Hopkins was used in college. Bryson Hopkins is going to be the guy after Tyler Higbee. I don't see Gerald Everett coming back, and I don't even know if Johnny Munt will be back. So what I'm saying is I think there's so many weapons, and I'm saying I don't even think that their potential has been fully tapped into. Imagine Cooper Kupp getting the ball out in front of him so he could get more yards after the catch. Imagine Robert Woods not having to reach 3 yards behind him to make a catch. Remember that interception? It was against the Patriots where Jared Goff threw it way behind Robert Woods and Woods tried to make a play and actually flipped the ball up and it got picked off and people were blaming Woods. Well, you don't have that with Stafford. You don't have ducks. You don't have random overthrows. You don't have random underthrows. You have a guy that throws pinpoint most of the time. And if he's throwing high because he knows that's your catch radius, and that's only where you're going to get it and not the other guy, not the other team. I mean, look at this frozen rope right here. Beautiful. This is what Stafford does. This is what he's been doing. Anybody calling him overrated at this point just don't realize how good he is. Those of you that want to say, well, this is a guy that only had 26 touchdowns last year. And at most, he's had 41, which no one will ever bring that up if they're trying to discredit Stafford. But he had 26 touchdowns last year. And then I also hear his stats are very comparable to Jared Goff because, Goff, his issue is that he had running backs that vultured his touchdowns at the goal line or within 10 yards. So I actually went ahead and dug those stats up for you. And Jared Goff had 14 of those. That's a lot. But Stafford had 16. So Stafford had more touchdowns passing, and he had 16 touchdowns, which went to a running back within 10 yards. 10 yards of the goal line. So could you not make the argument Stafford had 16 vulture touchdowns? Now, how is he going to win the MVP? We keep going back to this. How is he going to win the MVP? Well, first off, look at what McVay was able to do with Jared Goff. I don't think Jared Goff is anywhere near Stafford's level. He's not as confident. He doesn't have the arm he has. He doesn't have the accuracy, the mobility, the experience. Stafford has he's wanted to play in this situation. We've already seen what Stafford can do when he has a good situation. Let's just equate it to when they had Calvin Johnson. He had over 5,000 yards, 41 touchdowns, 16 interceptions. He had over almost 5,000 yards again the very next year, but he threw over 700 times and led the league. In this offense, anybody that's worried about Stafford putting this team in a position to fail, which you shouldn't, let's go back to 2017. 2016, Stafford in 2016 had 8 fourth-quarter game-winning drives out of 9-7 record. So 8 of the 9 wins he had to come from behind and win. And this is a common thing. The next year he had 4. The next year he had 1, but they only won 6 games. Next year he had 1. They only won 3 games before he got hurt. And then in 2020 he had 4, and they won 5 games. So what I'm getting at here, Stafford's doing more with less. A lot more with less. I mentioned it earlier today on Twitter. He has the same number of comebacks and 1 more game-winning drive than Matt Ryan in 40 less games played. He's not given enough credit. He's just not. So how can he win an MVP? Well, he's got Robert Woods. He's got Cooper Kupp. He's got Van Jefferson. He might have this man right here who's about to score a touchdown on screen in Marvin Jones. He has Tyler Higbee. He has Bryson Hopkins. He's a star running back or future star running back in Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson. Why wouldn't he win the MVP? When you have all those guys around you, you have an offensive line that is pretty much going to be the same, except for maybe the center, Austin Blythe, who's in free agency. Perhaps they upgrade in the draft. You have Sean McVay, the offensive guru. Are we not realizing or remembering that Sean McVay took one of the worst offenses, an offense that Todd Gurley deemed a high school offense? He took that and turned them into the number 1 offense the next year. And then kept that same consistency in 2018 as the number 2 offense. Kansas City was ahead of them. They beat Kansas City also head-to-head. 2019, they struggled. In 2020, they struggled. But they struggled to find the end zone. Stafford doesn't struggle to find the end zone. The only time he struggles to find the end zone is when his coach tells him to hand it off to the running back. He had 16 of those. Stafford's ready. He's ready for the moment. He has had 1 top 10 defense. That 1 top 10 defense led to them going 11-5. It led to his only Pro Bowl season. And it led to the playoffs. That 1 top 10 defense in 2014. All he needs is a solid defense. All he needs is, hey, if I score 31, can you not give up 38? Or can you not, that's the thing, is that Stafford's doing everything he can, and you look at these games where, wow, he really played well against insert team here, and they end up losing because, well, they're the Lions. They don't have much of a defense. Look at what Stafford was able to do. All right, so the Buccaneers without Stafford, by the way, because they only had him for 3 snaps or 3 throws. He went 2 of 3 in that game, and he left the game I think he got hurt, but I don't actually remember why they replaced Chase Daniel. But Stafford, and as you can see here, this is Marvin Hall. Look at this adjustment, but look at this throw. This is a 60-yard throw in the air for Stafford. Again, I don't remember the last time the Rams had a quarterback that could make that throw. And then this one, just beautiful, right on the money. But let's just go back a sec. Buccaneers won 47-7 without Stafford playing. Okay? Stafford plays, they almost beat the Bears. They lose on what you saw with Swift. With the Packers, they lose 42-21. So his defense gives up 42 points. They beat Arizona in Arizona, riding Stafford. They lose to the Saints. After scoring 29, they give up 35. They beat the Jaguars. They 34-16. They beat the Falcons on the back of Stafford, his game-winning drive, the final seconds. They lose to Indy because they scored 21, but they gave up 41. They lose to Minnesota, 34-20. They beat Washington, a playoff team. At this point, they're 4-5. At this point, they're 4-5. And they beat Washington 30-27. They turn it around the next week, and I don't know, for whatever reason, Stafford has a rough day. Stafford obviously had a rough day, but they also had multiple pressures on Stafford in the Carolina game. They gave up 12 pressures, 7 sacks, none of which PFF credits to Stafford. So he just had no time to throw. They lose 20-0. Houston, they give up 41 on Thanksgiving, 41-25. They beat Chicago 34-30 in the Windy City. So now they're 5-7. Green Bay, they lose 31-24. Tennessee, they go to Tennessee. Stafford has a game. Okay, he has some monstrous throws, which you'll see coming up. The no-look throw, the seam buster to Hunter Bryant, very impressive. And they lose 46-25. He only plays for 3 throws in the Buccaneers game. They lose 47-7. And then Minnesota, they lose 37-35. He gives it his all, but his defense gives up 37 points. By the way, they were last in almost every category, the defense. So this is a product of the fact, Stafford, again, as you can see here, turned the ball over. He's going to turn the ball over, okay? Brett Favre turned the ball over. I think he's very similar to Brett Favre, to be honest with you. Very similar. Big arm, a guy that's a true gunslinger, will roll out, will try to buy time, will take sacks. Very similar to Brett Favre. Now, Stafford is looking at a career in which he knows he should have a Super Bowl. He should have at least won a playoff game by now. This is somebody who's 74-90-1 in 165 games played. He has a 62.6 completion percentage for his career, 45,109 yards, 282 touchdowns, 144 interceptions. Now, he seems as though he's a guy that, I understand why people question him, but if you don't watch the tape, you can't know for sure. He does things on film that just don't show up in the stat sheet. He'll put a ball right on the money and it gets dropped. And that's been happening for a long time. He's dealt with a lot of drops. So he comes to the Rams here, and you have all these weapons. You have McVay. You have a top 10 defense. Now, what is Stafford going to do, and how would he win the MVP? I think Stafford wins the MVP with over 40 touchdowns. I think he might have 8 to 12 interceptions. But I think he's going to win the MVP because voters are going to see he went to the Rams and he turned everything around. I think this upcoming season, it's why I picked the Rams versus the Chargers in the Super Bowl. I think the Rams are going to the Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford as long as he stays healthy. God willing, he stays healthy, and I think the sky's the limit. I don't think we've truly seen what a Sean McVay offense looks like, and now we're going to. That's not to say Goff didn't look great in 2018 and look good in 2017. But they have to figure it out now, and without Gurley, Goff hasn't been the same. So here comes Matthew Stafford, a guy that's had 11 times in 165 games he's quarterbacked where he's had a running back go over 100 yards in a game. The Rams had that 5 times last year. So I think he's going to get serious aid from Cam Akers. I'm excited to see what they do with him pass catching out of the backfield. I'm excited what they're going to do. Obviously, keep a lot of jet motion and everything in the playbook. Keep in mind also what Stafford does that Jared Goff didn't is he scares defenses straight up. So they're not going to be able to play the Rams the way they played them last year. They're going to have to respect that Stafford can throw. He can make every throw. No throw on the field, it's there that he can't make. So that's another thing to keep in mind. You can't write off anything with the Rams now. They can run the ball, they can throw the ball, they can catch the ball. The offensive line, for the most part, is going to have continuity. They're expected to have all 4 starters back. 4 out of the 5 starters back. Could have all 5. They were also a top 10 offensive line, number 3 ranked by PFF. So Stafford's coming into a situation where they're going to give up fewer pressures than last year. He has running backs. Now, he had a good stable of running backs, but I think really it was more so the offensive line. But I think another thing that needs to be said is Darrell Bevell was the offensive coordinator for Stafford last year. He also took over as the interim head coach. Sean McVay and Kevin O'Connell are going to be night and day compared to those guys. Night and day. It's really not even worth comparing. So Stafford going into year 13 or year 12, he's not going to be a Lion. And Lions fans, there's a reason why a lot of Lions fans are jumping ship and moving over to being Rams fans. Because they absolutely love this guy. They've heard all the slander about this guy. As you can see, he's getting beaten to death over here in Carolina. They heard everything. They're tired of the slander. They want to see this guy win a ring. They know what he's done for the city of Detroit. He and his wife. They've given him back. But not only that, Stafford has been their starting quarterback since they drafted him in 2009. He was not a bust by any stretch. He's been unbelievable for them. He's been everything that they could have imagined and more. But they haven't had the defense to support it. It goes back to the saying, you can score 7 touchdowns, but if your defense gives up 8, you won't win a game. It's a very realistic thing. And unfortunately, Stafford had to deal with it. Not in that sense, but, the idea of it. So, Stafford, what are you getting with the Rams? You're getting a guy who's mobile, a guy that's a hard worker. A guy that has pinpoint accuracy, has velocity, has arm strength. Just raw talent on display. You're getting a guy that's poised, a guy that's experienced, a guy that's hungry, a guy that has not had the taste of a playoff win and has seen the Rams from his home win a playoff game this year with a quarterback that he knew he was better than. You're getting a guy that has just waited for the opportunity to play with guys on the other side of the ball like Aaron Donald. Has waited for the opportunity to play for a coach like Sean McVay. And ultimately is the missing piece of the Los Angeles Rams. They knew it. That's why they made the trade. He's going to do everything he can to bring a Super Bowl to LA. And the little things, the nuances, that to me is what makes you the potential, that's what makes you to go from the potential of being a really good quarterback to a great quarterback. Stafford can take the step and become elite. Not only can he become elite, I think he's going to be a future Hall of Famer if this works out. And you can say all you want, well, he went to the Sean McVay system, clearly he's a system quarterback, but I don't even think that's it. I don't think that's it at all. If you put him in a situation where he had a number one defense, or at least a top 10 every year, like say a Tom Brady, I think he would have had success anyway. He didn't need the Sean McVay offense. He's already had success in these really bad offenses, piss poor offenses, horrible play calling, very, very, very predictable. And now you give him a guy, and this is my point, you give him a guy that's a mad scientist and a guy that's ready to win a Super Bowl. Guy that's already been in a Super Bowl. He was there his second year. Do you realize what can be accomplished between him, McVay, and O'Connell? Do you realize that Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Higbee, Van Jefferson, all those guys, do you realize they're all about to ascend? Because one thing I forgot to mention, if I haven't made it clear, Matthew Stafford elevates the play of everyone around him. Amendola, Quintez Cephas, Jesse James, TJ Hawkinson, Marvin Jones, Marvin Hall, you name it. Mohamed Sanu, Golden Tate, Levine Toilolo, Adrian Peterson, all those guys. All of them. Here's the thing. If it's a baton race, and you have to give the baton, you have to hand it off to the next guy, how can you expect the next guy to run with it if you throw it at his feet? If you don't hand it off to him? Stafford does a great job of limiting the inaccuracies in his arm. He has multiple arm angles that allows him to basically take what's in front of him, whether, if it's J.J. Watt or somebody trying to bat down his pass, he can throw sidearm like he's Kurt Warner. He can make those no-look throws. I've been saying it for a while. He can make the same no-look throws that everyone flips out about Mahomes making, he's been making for years. Not only that, the play, he might see, okay, I have this guy. I have the simple route to the flat. I have the screen. And he might just decide, you know what? I have the arm strength, and we need a big play here. I'm pushing this down the field. It's going to be really exciting to see what he and Sean McVay can accomplish. And it's going to be even more exciting as soon as Matthew Stafford just ends up on a field. As soon as the Rams can trot him out there in horns. Because make no mistake, there's a reason why teams are scared. There's a reason now why you're seeing all these teams rethink their quarterback situation, because they knew Jared Goff was the one thing the Rams were winning in spite of and not because of. Jared Goff was their least talented starter outside of maybe their linebackers. And now executives are looking around the league and thinking, this is bad news. This is not good. Sean McVay almost won a Super Bowl with Jared Goff. Sean McVay has done wonders. Hell, look at John Wolford. I'm very high on John Wolford. I believe he's a starter in the league, but a lot of teams don't. So they looked at what he did and thought, Matthew Stafford's a different story. He succeeds no matter who's there, individually. And he gets everyone around him to succeed. It hasn't turned into wins, but look at the progress. Look at the production. And this is because you have a guy that is constantly, no matter what, keeping his eyes downfield. He's constantly trying to make a play. He's willing to take the hit. He's tough as nails. He'll get dumped and he'll get right back up. And I just think the accuracy factor is so important, but his awareness, you can't speak enough about his awareness. When I watched this film over and I finished every game, I'm not even going to lie to you. I was blown away. He's better than I thought. And I already was very high on him because I've watched every game beforehand. I've been following him for years, but I hadn't gotten a chance to rewatch. Keep in mind, I've watched every game, but I haven't rewatched the Lions games in all 22. And there's these things that he does in the pocket, just very subtle movements. And it's all like robotic, but it's just amazing. It's like that's when you get that to be second nature to you. I mean, that's the thing. He's doing this stuff and it's all second nature to him. It's a habit. Goff has developed poor habits, so we'll see if he breaks them. He's still making rookie mistakes. He still has mechanical flaws. Matthew Stafford always throws with the same level. Arm angle, like he changes his arm angle, but the same type of, using the same type of wide base, not too wide, not too skinny, and he drives the ball. Since he's been doing it since Georgia. I mean, it's really impressive. And here's the throw that I was talking about, the no look. Just unbelievable. Again, in slow motion, you're going to see it here to Marvin Jones. This thing's a thing of beauty. He's just... I hope people really realize, like Rams fans, really realize what they're getting in this guy. 282 touchdowns, 144 interceptions, true gunslinger. And now for the next 2 years, he's going to be a Los Angeles Ram throwing to top-notch wide receivers. It's the most talent he's been around since Calvin Johnson. And as much as I like Marvin Jones, as good as Golden Tate was, all these guys together do not equal, or those guys don't even equal anywhere near what these guys all together equal. And I'm really high on Van Jefferson, so don't sleep on him. I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up being the best receiver in the room. He's that good, and I think people are going to finally see it. Josh Reynolds and Jared Goff were holding him back. Josh Reynolds because of playing time, Jared Goff because, well, he wasn't hitting the ball. Wasn't making that throw. He's not making that throw either. It's truly impressive, though, what Stafford's able to do. And it's just, again, he's going to win MVP if he stays healthy. He's been waiting for this moment. This is just a beautiful throw. I watched Goff miss this same throw 3 times this year in crucial situations. Go back to the Jets game. If he hits that throw to Darrell Henderson, they probably win. It's ridiculous. And here's the Buccaneers game, and he didn't last very long. He got hurt or something, but I put it in anyway. They're like 2 throws. That's it. And then this is the final game of the year, the showdown, where he makes a bunch of wild throws against the Vikings. I can't help but think, though, that there's just so many people sleeping on this guy, and I think he's going to break out. I mean, we saw Matt Ryan win an MVP. I know people don't put him in the same tier as Brady or Manning or Breeze or Rodgers, but I mean, I personally think Matthew Stafford has been in waiting. Someone put it very, I forget, it might have been, I think it was Skip Bayless. And normally I don't quote Skip Bayless. I'm not a big fan of Skip Bayless, but I think he said it the best. Matthew Stafford in Detroit was a sleeping giant. And now coming to the Rams, he's about to awake. More so, not just the talent, but just who he's going to have calling these plays. And the utmost respect that Matthew Stafford has from McVay. You can imagine that they're going to let Stafford do very similar things to what Rodgers is doing in Green Bay. where, yes, he bought into the Matt LaFleur system, but, don't make any mistakes about it. If Rodgers sees something he likes, he's going to pull the trigger on it. And I think that's, part of what I think McVay is going to be a part of with Stafford. I think he's going to give him a lot of opportunity, and we're going to see it. We're going to see his ability to work off script with this team and what they can do. And we're going to see the fact that I think you're going to go back to the Rams looking like the greatest show on turf again. Because the Rams team, no matter how good their offense was in 2017 and 2018, they didn't blow teams out the way the Rams of the greatest show on turf could. And I feel like this is a team now with Stafford, and we'll see in the offseason if they add a deep threat like Marvin Jones or what happens. But this is a team that can blow teams out on paper right now, adding Stafford. Look at that beautiful throw. You have, once again, the deep ball's back. What the Rams were able to do without being able to throw deep downfield and being very, very predictable isn't just beyond impressive. The Rams won 10 games and 9 games in back-to-back seasons without a deep ball, without a deep threat. That's all you need to know. Stafford comes in, can make all the throws. No stone is left unturned. Sean McVay has himself his franchise quarterback, and you can imagine that the Rams are going to be back in the Super Bowl. So that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to drop a like on it. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon. You'll get all the access to the videos as soon as they come up. But I'm Jake Ellenbogen. Again, appreciate you guys for checking this out. And I'm looking forward to seeing Matthew Stafford in what I believe is going to be an MVP season and a statement for anybody that doubted Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams.